The Grand Interstellar Summit on Earth's orbital station was a melting pot of species from across the galaxy, but Ethan Blackwood couldn't stop staring at the cerulean-skinned woman across the room. Her iridescent hair flowed like liquid starlight, shifting colors with each subtle movement. As Earth's youngest ambassador to the Galactic Confederation, he'd met countless extraterrestrial beings, but none had captured his attention like her. Ambassador Blackwood, a voice jarred him from his thoughts. May I introduce Vexara Nilith, cultural attaché from Lumina. The woman extended a six-fingered hand. Up close, Ethan noticed the delicate patterns of luminescence that appeared beneath her skin when she moved, like constellations shifting across a living sky. Ambassador, she said, her voice carrying a melodic quality that human vocal cords could never replicate. Your reputation precedes you. I've studied your work on cross-species communication protocols. Ethan took her hand, feeling an unexpected warmth. Please call me Ethan, and I'm flattered, though I suspect my protocols pale in comparison to Luminan empathic traditions. A smile brightened Vexara's features, revealing a row of pearlescent teeth. You've done your homework, Ethan. I try to be prepared, though I admit files and databases hardly capture the essence of meeting someone in person. They gravitated toward the observation deck, Earth's blue sphere dominating the view below them. For hours, they discussed everything from political philosophy to art, finding surprising commonalities despite evolving on planets 50 light-years apart. Luminan poetry focuses on the interconnectedness of beings, Vexara explained, her fingers tracing invisible patterns in the air. We believe souls recognize each other across lifetimes, across galaxies. That's not so different from some human philosophers, Ethan replied. Plato spoke of souls that were split apart, forever searching for their other half. Perhaps our species aren't so different after all. Vexara's eyes, with their vertical pupils, studied him with unnerving intensity. Over the next 3 days, they found excuses to attend the same panels, sit together at diplomatic dinners, and extend their conversations long into the station's artificial night. Ethan learned about Lumina's triple suns, its crystal forests, and the complex familial structures that defined Luminan society. Family is everything to us, Vexara said as they shared a quiet moment on the summit's final day. Our mothers particularly hold tremendous influence, guiding the family's future connections. On Earth, it varies widely by culture, Ethan said, though I can certainly relate to maternal influence. He chuckled, thinking of his own mother's not-so-subtle hints about settling down. As the summit concluded and delegates prepared to return to their respective worlds, Vexara approached Ethan at the shuttle bay. Earth has been illuminating, she said, a playful glint in her eyes at the pun, but I believe you would find Lumina equally fascinating. Ethan's heart raced. Are you inviting me to visit your homeworld? More specifically, my family would be honored to host you. My mother is particularly interested in meeting you. Vexara handed him a small crystal that pulsed with inner light. Should you accept, this contains all the diplomatic clearances you'll need. Their fingers brushed as he took the crystal, and that now familiar warmth spread through his hand. I'll make the arrangements, he heard himself say, surprising even himself with the swiftness of his decision. Vexara's skin glowed brighter. Until then, Ethan Blackwood, safe journey among the stars. As her shuttle departed, Ethan clutched the crystal, wondering what awaited him on a distant world, and why Vexara's mother was so eager to meet a human diplomat. The interstellar journey to Lumina took 17 Earth days, but to Ethan, each moment stretched like an eternity. The diplomatic vessel Helios glided through the darkness between stars, its quantum drives humming with barely contained power. As they approached the Luminan system, the ship's viewing deck offered Ethan his first glimpse of Vexara's homeworld. Lumina orbited 3 suns, a primary yellow giant and 2 smaller companions that cast the planet in perpetual twilight. The surface shimmered with vast oceans of liquid crystal and sprawling cities that seemed to grow organically from the landscape rather than being built upon it. Magnificent, isn't it? The ship's captain, a grizzled veteran of interstellar diplomacy, stood beside him. First time I saw it, I thought I was hallucinating. Nothing in human experience quite prepares you for Lumina. Ethan nodded wordlessly, his diplomatic training temporarily forgotten in the face of such beauty. The descent to Lumina's surface was smooth, the ship gliding through iridescent clouds that parted like curtains. They landed on a platform that seemed to be composed of living crystal, pulsing gently beneath their feet as Ethan disembarked. Vexara stood waiting, her skin radiant under the triple suns. She wore flowing robes that caught the light in hypnotic patterns, and a circlet of luminescent metal adorned her brow. Welcome to Lumina, Ambassador Blackwood, she said formally, then broke into a warm smile. I've been counting the moments, Ethan. It's even more beautiful than you described, he replied, acutely aware of the diplomatic staff watching their exchange. Over the next few days, Vexara showed him the wonders of her world. They walked through forests of crystalline trees that sang in harmonic tones when the wind blew. They visited temples where Luminan elders meditated in pools of liquid light. In the capital city of Astrales, they watched artisans shape materials with the power of thought alone. On the third day, as they sat beside a pool that reflected not just their faces, but somehow glimpses of their thoughts, Vexara's hand found his. I've shown you my world, she said softly, but not my home. Would you care to meet my family? Ethan's pulse quickened. In human diplomacy, meeting a counterpart's family was meaningful. Among Luminans, with their intensely matriarchal society, he suspected it carried even greater significance. I'd be honored, he replied, squeezing her hand gently. They traveled by personal transport, a vehicle that hovered silently above the ground, to a sprawling estate nestled in a valley of singing crystals. The structure seemed alive, its walls flowing and shifting subtly as they approached. My ancestral home, Vexara explained. 23 generations of my maternal line have lived here. The house responds to our biorhythms, it's partially sentient. Inside, the home was even more remarkable. Corridors changed configuration as they walked, leading them effortlessly to a grand chamber where an elegant Luminan woman waited. Her skin was deeper blue than Vexara's, and the luminescent patterns beneath it formed more complex constellations. Her eyes, wise and penetrating, studied Ethan with undisguised curiosity. Mother, Vexara said, lowering her head slightly in respect. May I present Ambassador Ethan Blackwood of Earth. Ethan, this is my mother, Thela Nylith, matriarch of House Nylith and keeper of the celestial records. Thela approached with fluid grace. The stars have whispered of your coming, Ethan Blackwood, she said, her voice deeper and more resonant than Vexara's. I have long wished to meet a human whose soul light shines so vividly. Ethan bowed, remembering his cultural briefings. The honor is mine, matriarch. Your daughter has shown me incredible kindness and patience. Has she? Thela's eyes flickered with something Ethan couldn't interpret. Vexara has always had excellent judgment. Come, you must be our guest for the evening meal. There is much to discuss and the alignment festival approaches. Perfect timing, wouldn't you agree, daughter? Vexara's skin flickered with what Ethan had come to recognize as embarrassment. Mother, perhaps we shouldn't overwhelm our guest with too many Luminan customs at once. Nonsense, Thela replied, linking her arm through Ethan's. I believe Ambassador Blackwood will find our customs fascinating, particularly those related to cosmic unions. As they walked deeper into the living house, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that he'd stepped into something far more complex than a simple diplomatic visit. The dining chamber in House Nylith defied Ethan's understanding of architecture. The ceiling appeared to open directly to the stars above, though Ethan knew it couldn't possibly be open to Lumina's atmosphere. The walls pulsed with bioluminescence, creating the impression of dining within a living heart. Thela sat at the head of the table with Vexara and Ethan on either side. Several other Luminans joined them. Vexara's Aunt Myra, her cousin Jalith, and the family's senior advisor, an ancient Luminan named Corvin whose skin had faded to pale lavender with age. The meal consisted of foods Ethan had never imagined, fruits that changed flavor with each bite, beverage that shifted color as it responded to the drinker's emotional state, and delicacies that seemed to dance on the serving platters. Tell me, Ambassador, Thela said as servants brought another course, do humans believe in cosmic destiny? Ethan considered the question carefully, aware of all eyes on him. Some do. We have many philosophies about fate and free will. And you personally, Thela pressed, her eyes never leaving his face. I believe the universe offers opportunities, but we choose which paths to follow. Interesting, Thela exchanged a glance with Corvin. On Lumina, we believe certain souls are cosmically aligned, drawn together across time and space because their energies are complementary. We call them astral matches. Vexara's skin flickered with that same embarrassment Ethan had noticed earlier. Mother, perhaps Ambassador Blackwood would prefer to discuss interstellar trade agreements. Nonsense, Thela waved her hand dismissively. The Confederation has diplomats for such mundane matters. I'm interested in more essential connections. She turned back to Ethan. Tomorrow night marks the beginning of our alignment festival when the 3 suns and 2 moons of Lumina align perfectly, an event that occurs only once every 67 years. It is considered the most auspicious time for recognizing cosmic bonds. It sounds beautiful, Ethan replied diplomatically. You must attend as our honored guest, Thela insisted. The ceremony at the Temple of Celestial Union is particularly moving. Vexara's cousin Jalith made a sound that might have been a suppressed laugh. Indeed, many matches are confirmed during the festival. The temple has been preparing for months. Matches? Ethan asked, suddenly more alert. Unions, Corvin explained, his ancient voice crackling like old parchment. What humans might call marriages, though deeper in cosmic significance. Ethan's eyes darted to Vexara, who was studying her plate with intense focus, her skin rippling with colors he hadn't seen before. I'm sure the ambassador has many duties, Vexara began. Which pale in comparison to experiencing our most sacred tradition, Thela interrupted smoothly. It's settled then, tomorrow you'll both attend the ceremony. The conversation shifted to other topics, but throughout the meal, Ethan caught Thela watching him with calculating eyes. Later, as they walked through gardens of crystal flowers that chimed softly in the evening breeze, Ethan found a moment alone with Vexara. Your mother is very focused on this festival, he said carefully. Vexara sighed, her luminescence dimming slightly. My mother is the keeper of our family's traditions. The Alignment Festival holds special significance for her. And for you, Ethan asked, stepping closer. Before she could answer, Thela's voice called from the house. Vexara, the ancestral robes need your final fitting. I should go, Vexara said, her fingers briefly brushing his. Rest well, Ethan, tomorrow will be illuminating. As Ethan watched her go, he couldn't shake the sense that he was being maneuvered toward something that Vexara seemed conflicted about. He gazed up at the alien sky, wondering what exactly this celestial alignment would bring. The Temple of Celestial Union dominated the highest point in the valley, its spires reaching toward the heavens like crystalline fingers. As Ethan approached alongside Vexara and her family, he was struck by the gathering crowds, thousands of luminans in their finest attire, their skin displaying a dazzling array of emotional colors. It's breathtaking, Ethan whispered to Vexara. She nodded, her own skin shifting between deep blue and violet hues. She wore ceremonial robes of silver and azure with a headdress of what appeared to be living stars. The alignment happens only once in most luminans' lifetimes. Many travel across the planet to witness it. Thela glided beside them, resplendent in robes that seemed woven from the night sky itself. The inner ceremony is for selected participants only, she announced. Ethan, you'll accompany me and Vexara. Mother, Vexara began, but Thela had already swept ahead, leading them through the crowds. Inside the temple, the air hummed with energy. The ceiling was a transparent dome showing the three suns beginning their cosmic dance toward alignment. Luminan priests moved silently through the gathering, marking certain individuals with glowing symbols. One approached Ethan, studying him with ancient eyes before painting a crescent symbol on his forehead with luminescent liquid. What does this mean? Ethan whispered to Vexara. It marks you as participating in the ceremony, she replied hesitantly. Before he could ask further questions, resonant chimes filled the air. The crowd hushed as the high priestess took her position beneath the dome. She spoke in the Luminan language, her voice rising and falling like music. She speaks of cosmic bonds that transcend physical form, Vexara translated softly. How when souls recognize each other across the void, it is our sacred duty to honor that connection. The ceremony proceeded with hypnotic beauty, songs that seemed to vibrate through Ethan's very cells, movements that created patterns of light across the temple floor. Throughout it all, he noticed Thela watching them with intense satisfaction. As the three suns drew closer to perfect alignment, the high priestess called forward specific pairs from the crowd. With a start, Ethan heard his own name called alongside Vexara's. What's happening? He whispered urgently. Mother has registered us for the blessing of union, Vexara admitted, her skin flushing deep indigo. I tried to tell you. Vexara Nilith and Ethan Blackwood, the high priestess announced in accented English, step forward as the stars have decreed your soul's alignment. As if in a dream, Ethan found himself standing before the assembled crowd, the three suns almost perfectly aligned above them. The high priestess spoke of cosmic destiny, of souls finding each other across the vastness of space, of the rare blessing of an interspecies union during the alignment. This is a marriage ceremony, Ethan realized with sudden clarity. Not exactly, Vexara whispered. More like a cosmic engagement. Mother believes we are astral matches, that our meeting wasn't coincidence but cosmic destiny. The high priestess raised her hands toward the aligning suns. Does any being contest this union? Ethan's diplomatic training warred with his personal feelings. He'd grown deeply fond of Vexara, perhaps even fallen in love with her, but this orchestrated event felt manipulative. He looked at Vexara's face and saw her own conflict. I request a moment of private consultation, Ethan said formally, using the diplomatic phrase that could pause any proceeding. A murmur ran through the crowd. The high priestess nodded gravely, and Ethan led Vexara to a small antechamber off the main temple. Your mother planned this from the beginning, he said once they were alone. The invitation, the timing of my visit. Yes, Vexara admitted. When I described you after the summit, she consulted the ancestral records. She believes our souls have crossed paths before in cosmic cycles long past. And you, what do you believe? Vexara's skin rippled with complex emotions. I feel drawn to you in ways I cannot explain, but I wanted our connection to develop naturally. Mother believes she's helping destiny along, but she's rushing us towards something we should discover in our own time, Ethan finished. Vexara nodded. In Luminan tradition, a mother's vision for her children's cosmic connections is sacred. Refusing her would cause great shame. Ethan took her hands, feeling that now familiar warmth. I won't put you in that position, but neither will I be manipulated even by the stars themselves. Outside the antechamber, the three sons of Lumina reached perfect alignment, bathing the temple in golden light. Ethan and Vexara emerged, their decision made. Thella stepped forward anxiously, her skin fluctuating between anticipation and concern. The alignment reaches perfection, she urged. You must complete the ceremony. Ethan faced her with diplomatic poise. Respected matriarch, I have the deepest appreciation for your traditions and your vision. However, on Earth we have a saying, the course of true love never did run smooth. What does this mean? Thella demanded. It means, Vexara interjected, her voice stronger than Ethan had ever heard it, that genuine connections cannot be forced, mother, not even by cosmic alignments. If Ethan and I are truly astral matches, then our bond will form in its own time, in its own way. A murmur ran through the assembled Luminans. Thella's skin darkened with emotion. You would reject our most sacred tradition. Not reject, Ethan said carefully. Transform, honor it by allowing it to evolve. He turned to address the High Priestess. We respectfully request a blessing for our journey of discovery, not a predetermined union, but a path we choose to walk together, blending human independence with Luminan cosmic wisdom. For a long moment, silence filled the temple. Then, unexpectedly, Corvin stepped forward, his ancient form commanding immediate respect. The records speak of such unions, he said, his voice carrying despite its frailty. When worlds collide, traditions must evolve. The first Luminan to bond with an off-worlder did so in defiance of tradition, yet that bloodline, he nodded toward Thella, became one of our strongest. The High Priestess considered this, then raised her ceremonial staff. The alignment does not command, it reveals. If these souls seek a new path, perhaps that itself is the cosmic message we should heed. She motioned Ethan and Vexara forward, placing her hands on their shoulders. I offer not the blessing of union, but the rarer blessing of discovery, a recognition that some cosmic journeys require new maps. Light poured from the aligned suns through the temple dome, bathing them in radiance. The assembled luminans hummed a harmonic tone that seemed to resonate within Ethan's very bones. In that moment, looking into Vexara's eyes, he felt a connection deeper than ceremony could create. Later, as the celebration continued under the triple moonlight, Thella approached them in the temple gardens. You have disrupted a tradition thousands of years old, she said, but without the anger Ethan had expected. Her skin glowed with a softer hue. We've honored its essence, mother, Vexara replied. The recognition of cosmic connection without forcing its form. Thella studied Ethan with newfound respect. Perhaps I underestimated human wisdom. Our records say that cosmic matches often challenge each other, push each other toward growth. She touched the ancient pendant at her throat. Your father challenged me similarly, Vexara. Perhaps that is the true pattern repeating. She stepped closer to Ethan. The alignment comes only once in 67 years, but souls find their way across far greater spans. I may not witness your union, but the stars will. With that, she glided away, leaving them alone beneath the extraordinary sky. She's already planning our future, Vexara said with a mixture of exasperation and affection. Perhaps some things are universal, Ethan laughed. Human mothers aren't so different. He drew her closer, marveling at how right it felt to hold her despite their physiological differences. I don't know if we're cosmic matches written in the stars, but I do know I want to discover what we might become, at our own pace, writing our own destiny. Vexara's skin illuminated with joy as she leaned toward him. Their lips met in a kiss that bridged worlds, different in form but perfectly aligned in essence. Above them, the three suns began their slow dance apart, but something new had aligned between Earth and Lumina that no cosmic cycle could undo. "Where do we go from here?" Vexara whispered against his lips. "Everywhere," Ethan replied. "The universe is vast, and we have all the time among the stars to explore it together." As the celebration continued around them, two beings from distant worlds embraced under alien skis, their path forward unclear but chosen freely, the most profound union of all.